Hello, everyone, and welcome to GoT Thrones, a Game of Thrones podcast. I'm Alexandra August.
And I'm Johnny Kolasinski.
And welcome to GoT Thrones, the Superfight edition.
Round 2.
Round 2. In case you missed our intro episode 2 weeks ago, this is going to be our off-season content. We are going to play the game of Superfight with Game of Thrones characters. But there are people who might not know what Superfight is, Johnny.
Yes, there are. Superfight is a game similar to Cards Against Humanity or Apples to Apples. You've got cards with characters and you've got cards with attributes. The characters in the regular game are things like a nudist or a chimpanzee or a dolphin.
Or Mr. Rogers.
Or Mr. Rogers. And why is that always your go-to? I mean, it's a great card.
Because it reminds me of that Final Countdown video that I like so much.
Oh, right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got attributes like stone gaze, or used to be a bear, or wearing a jetpack, or can clone self. But each clone is half as smart as the previous clone.
Or has a mouthful of bees.
Mouthful of bees. So we're playing it a little variant. We're only using characters from Game of Thrones.
What do we do?
Oh, yeah.
What do they do?
Then, so you give them those attributes, and then you make them fight. And then you fight about who's going to win.
Exactly. It is a game of ridiculous arguments, which I think is their actual tagline. Plug to Superfight if any of you guys are listening. We love it.
Yeah, we are a podcast of ridiculous arguments, so it fits really well.
Yeah. It's kind of our niche. So yeah, then you basically fight it out. So what we've decided to do is to throw out all of the character cards that Superfight took so long to come up with and insert Game of Thrones characters that I spent an evening writing down and cutting up into tiny strips of paper and putting into a bowl.
They're in a bowl.
They're in a bowl on my desk.
So thanks for all your hard work, Superfight, and now we're going to screw your game up.
Or make it really, really good. So if you played Superfight, we hope you enjoy this. If you haven't played Superfight, we hope this encourages you to buy it and play it on your own because it's a great game. And we'll be doing this.
And if you own Superfight, we hope that encourages you to sponsor our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And not if you own the game Superfight, if you actually own the concept and stuff.
If you own the game Superfight and want to sponsor our podcast,
that's your business, and you're more than welcome to.
We're down.
Mm-hmm. If you would like to get in touch with us for any reason, if you want to give us a little feedback about this, see what we think, tell us what you think about it, or just want to say hi, we can be found on Twitter at GoTHronesPcast, over email at gothronespodcast@gmail.com. I'm available on Twitter at ALXAugust.
I'm at Cycloptico.
Mm-hmm. So you can reach out to us on any of those platforms. You can leave us reviews on any of our other platforms like iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music.
All that works, and it's all aggregated at GoTHrones.com.
Absolutely. So, I mean, obviously you're listening to us, so you know
found us somehow.
Found us somehow. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can always leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher, helps our visibility. Or you can head on over to our Patreon and be a patron that way. I think that's all the nitty gritty.
Yeah, that's all the nitty gritty. So we got a little bit of news to talk about before we roll into the game.
Yeah, so it was kind of a slow couple of news weeks for Game of Thrones, but the one, I guess, semi-noteworthy item is that HBO did confirm once and for all that we are getting a grand total of 13 episodes of Game of Thrones left ever in the universe.
Which means there's probably going to be about, 2,400 episodes of Got Thrones?
Yeah, and they're all going to be really long. So, I mean, I would say at least for 3-4 years after Game of Thrones is done, you guys will have new podcast content coming to you. So,
yeah. And then there'll be a book to talk about. You
made the right choice. Ooh, that's true. Well, I mean,
maybe.
Yes, maybe. Let's
maybe let us go.
So, yeah. I have semi-mixed feelings about this. I think as anybody who's listened to the show knows, I'm typically a show defender. I don't have many problems with what they do. I don't consider the books so sacred that anything they've done on the show has really, really upset me, minus like one or two things that I thought were appalling. Dorne and the elimination of our beloved Lady Stoneheart.
Yeah.
But this, I know.
No surprise.
Yeah, not a surprise. The positive spin on it, that it seems the party line has been thrown down to everybody associated with the show to say is, and we can remind all of us that they're still budgeted for 10 episodes for both seasons. So since they're only producing 7 and then following 6, supposedly these episodes are going to be spectacular. So spake David and Dan at the South by Southwest panel. And also Kit Harington was careful to point that out in a recent Huffington Post interview. And to me, that's kind of all well and good, but it has me, I don't know, part of it makes me worry because it feels like they're almost trying to reassure us.
Yeah. Not to get political, which I am, but it's a very Sean Spicer take on things.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're focusing on the one positive part of this. I tend to trust these showrunners. I like, as I had some complaints about season 6, and I know so did you. There were some. I tend to look at it as a series of great home runs and then some pretty mediocre storytelling to back it up. But the home runs were so good that I didn't really care. But
that you forget that Bravo's dragged on for three episodes too long.
Yeah, 3 episodes too long, and to no real surprising conclusion, and to kind of a silly one that was a lot of cool fighting. I don't even know that it was that cool, and it came to a pretty an unsurprising conclusion where, like, oh hey, the blind girl fights in the dark.
Yep.
And then also Dorne just getting tossed out the window like it was completely disposable and totally unsavable, which I didn't think unsalvageable, which I didn't necessarily think was true, but I think Johnny and I were the only 2 people who were tickled by the Dorne storyline in season 5.
I think we were only tickled by the Dorne storyline because it gave us our best bit of our first season.
If you're unfamiliar with that, Johnny and I had a really good time envisioning Jamie and Bronn as Looney Tunes characters, like
Scooby-Doo characters.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo characters sneaking in behind the and the Dornish Winkies.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think that's where I stand with it. I love this show, but I will 100% take less episodes of higher quality than more episodes of lower quality. So I'm not hurting too badly over us getting shortened seasons.
And it's also HBO, which means that they can make the episodes as long or as short as they desire to fit the needs of the episode. We saw that a little bit in season 6, where we had 72-minute episodes, 75-minute episodes.
Yeah, I believe Battle of the Bastards and I keep wanting to say Light of the Seven, because that's the piece of music that Ramin Djawadi wrote for the opening. That you wake up to every morning. I mean, kind of. I listened to the shit out of that, man. But no, and
Winds of Winter.
Winds of Winter and Battle of the Bastards were both extra long episodes, and you feel it. It's weird. Like you think you wouldn't notice the difference between 50 minutes and a 60 and a 70, or 50 minutes and a 60-minute episode, but you really do.
That's 2.5 acts.
Yeah, it's
in a standard TV show.
This is true. Yeah, exactly. So I think you probably feel it a little bit more on something like HBO. So
right, and we've seen Netflix playing with that even more. With Black Mirror had a 94-minute episode.
True. I think that's a little bit more.
They've got a lot more room.
They're an anthology series, and that was their Christmas special. So maybe, but yeah, I think audiences are primed for that. Certainly, that would be nice. I think if they went longer, it's going to be. I think you're right. It's going to be really frustrating if we get 7 52-minute episodes. 7
52-minute episodes, all set in Dorne.
Exactly.
It's just a Adult Swim style static camera on the Tower of Joy.
Can we just hear Rhaegar and Lyanna coming at it? Bran sits outside and is like, I can't leave.
Bed screen.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know what you guys think about that. I'd be curious. I know it's not really news, but there's a lot of implications for it, and there's a lot of reasons to wonder why they made that decision. I don't know if the showrunners kind of realized that without the books, they don't have the foundation that they thought they did. Or they're just fucking exhausted. I don't know if you've ever heard David and Dan talk about the process of this show, of producing the show, but they kind of don't stop. They don't get a lot of time off between. I don't think they actually get a real hiatus between when the show airs and when they have to start writing again.
Yeah, so, I mean, it could very well be that those extra 3 episodes worth of budget are going to bourbon.
So much bourbon. So yeah,
Another interesting thing that got thrown out, and I've only read this because I haven't seen the panels yet, is that, again, grain of salt, because I've only seen this in writing, is that they confirmed that they wouldn't be involved in any prequel series.
Oh yeah, I think that's pretty 100% confirmed.
Or spin-off series.
They're
exhausted. But that means that spin-off series have been actively in discussion with HBO.
Oh yeah, absolutely. HBO's Casey Bloys, who's HBO's new head of programming, has come out a couple of different times over the past few months and been like, yes, we're 100% interested. They've talked with George R.R. Martin, who's really pushing for Dunk and Egg, and they've talked about, they're like, we're absolutely interested. Obviously, we want to continue this, but they also stay on the HBO brand pretty clearly and say, like, this is HBO. We are committed to quality, and we will not make something just to keep the Game of Thrones brand alive. I actually, if anybody follows me on Twitter or wants to, I also write for Geek Magazine, or Geek Exchange, which is an online geek blog. And I wrote an article a couple of months ago about possible prequel series. And I kind of hope they do one, and I kind of hope they don't do Dunk and Egg, because the more I started looking into it, the more I got really excited to see a prequel series that was based around like Bran the Builder in the first in the first Long Night, or the Targaryen invasion, like Targaryen conquest, on through Aegon's coronation, and then like even through the Targaryen civil war, which I'm lifting all from A World of Ice and Fire. But there's a lot of good material to be mined there if they want to do it.
I should probably read the stuff you write more, because I like that idea a lot.
I got so excited about it. If you guys are interested in that, that article can be found at geekexchange.com. If you search for my name, I just thought of it, so I don't have the actual link to the article ready, but we can post that on our Twitter.
We'll tweet it out. We'll stick it on our Facebook.
Yeah, we'll tweet it out and stick it on the Facebook once this episode premieres. So if you're listening to this on Monday, it should already be there. Give it a read and let us know what you think, what prequels you might like to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And with that, we should probably...
With that, let's bounce into some Superfight, the way Tommen bounced into some Superfight last week.
Yeah, if you missed last week, so it was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Tommen, you had yet another bad day.
Tommen v. Sansa, wasn't it?
Tommen v. Sansa, and Tommen was only 3 feet tall, and Sansa had an army of cats, and it just didn't go well for anyone. Didn't go well.
Yeah, it was a bad day for Tommen.
Once again, Tommen does not leave King's Landing alive. Poor kid.
Poor guy.
Poor kid.
So this week we've got a lot. Got a child that we're sure is going to have a much brighter future.
We're really, really brighter. We're pretty excited about this matchup, guys. Yeah. So in one corner, we have Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah, Tyrion James Lannister standing a fight, and I don't know how tall Peter Dinklage is.
3.5 feet tall.
Yep. He can summon an army of internet trolls.
At will, whenever he wants.
At will, and he's really hangry.
He's really hangry. So he's not just Tyrion, he's angry Tyrion. Which I feel like means he's probably sober.
And not mopey angry Tyrion.
No, like angry, like legit, I'm about to kill my father.
Yeah. And in the other corner, standing also pretty damn short, we have Shireen Baratheon driving a tank. First of her name. Driving a tank and drunk.
Oh, see, this is now making me think of, like, what if we just scrap this whole fight and talk about how Tyrion is obviously the person who got Shireen drunk in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's very clear.
Okay, and I know this might be a little bit redundant, but just giving that thought, I feel like our environment should also be King's Landing.
Okay, I'll give you that. I was seeing the North, but mainly because I want to see a tank roll up on Winterfell.
Oh, let's save that one for another day, because I feel like I feel like if Jon Snow's driving that tank, or if Arya's driving that tank, I'm going to like that image better, but... I like the idea of Stannis bringing Shireen to visit King's Landing, and this is what becomes of it.
Battle of the Backwater 2. This time it's personal.
Okay, so Tyrion's hangry. I'm feeling like Tyrion is... This is the morning. Tyrion is that hangover hangry. Like, you wake up and, like, all you want are eggs.
All you want is Denny's. and you live in Westeros, and there's no accessible Denny's. The closest is Hot Pie's place.
The only place they make Bloody Marys is in Dorne.
And
So
you can't make it before bottomless mimosas run out.
no, you can't. So Tyrion's not having a good morning.
Yeah.
He goes
He's
outside.
trekking down for a bowl of brown.
Shireen is woken up. She's still drunk.
Yep.
Still drunk from last night. So Shireen unexpectedly, I'm guessing because of the power, I'm guessing like Grayscale gave her an insane tolerance. That's the logic in my head. So
yeah,
I think she drank him under the table, and he's pissed.
And I think she also kind of woke up with a tank and doesn't know how she got it.
No, she woke up in the tank.
Yeah, she woke up in the tank.
And the tank was in the...
No idea where that tank came from.
It's in the old dragon pit. Somehow Aerys Targaryen got his hands on a tank. Tyrion was going to go down there and show her the dragons. He passed out. She, found her way into the tank. She passed out. He woke up first, left, pissed off, because he's like, where did she go? And then she woke up in the tank and was like, yeah.
The first thing she does is take down the Red Keep.
I'm imagining, I think Tyrion's in Flea Bottom, or on his way to Flea Bottom, for a bowl of brown, and all of a sudden, bursting forth from Rhaegar's Holdfast, through the gates of the Red Keep, onto the main thoroughfare. I wish I had my King's Landing map right here, because I do not know King's Landing well enough to know what street that's on. Bursting through, just plowing over buildings and people, is Shireen joyriding in a tank.
Blaring Bear in the Maiden Fair.
Oh yeah, exactly. God, and what if she has a stogie and some sunglasses? Like she's Robert Duvall from Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
I love the smell of Flea Bottom in the morning.
It smells like, oh no one loves the smell of Flea Bottom in the morning.
Drunk Shireen does.
Drunk Shireen does, because she can't smell a thing.
Nope.
I'm actually having a kind of issue here because I can't see them fighting.
I don't know, man. I think Tyrion realizes how much trouble he's in, that he got Stannis Baratheon's daughter wasted, and she's now leveling the city of King's Landing. So this might not be a fight where they hate each other, but I think he's got to stop her immediately before anyone finds out. And he's got to put someone else in that tank and blame it on them.
If there's one thing that thinks that they can stop a woman in a position of power, it's an army of internet trolls.
Oh my goodness, you are right.
Dusting my own shoulder off there. Angry letters, by the way, to gotthronespodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. You heard it here first. Not really. That's just our email address.
Yeah. You probably heard it on earlier episodes.
Mm-hmm. So I think Tyrion, he's walking down this hill and he hears this crash and a rumble and he's like, I have a headache.
Yeah. And so he just tweets one picture of Pepe the Frog and here comes everybody running.
He turns around and he sees Shireen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's blaring her music. She's got her sunglasses and I'm just really committed to this image, so I had to repeat it.
You really love the sunglasses.
I really do. Gosh, I hope we get a drawing of this. And he turns around and you're right, tweets Pepe the Frog. And what do the internet trolls look like?
Sam Tarley.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they have Sam Tarley's body type, but not his sweet, kind face.
Not his sweet demeanor.
No. And I'm envisioning them crawl, all of a sudden, the curtains in Flea Bottom windows draw back and you see a pair of bright eyes and people who haven't seen daylight.
Dull, glassy eyes.
Yeah.
Having a dull glass eye, I can say that.
Aha. In case any of you didn't know that Johnny has a glass eye, it makes his Twitter handle even more clever. All these people kind of peek out of curtains and come out, and it's just a slow assembled army of not a lot of physically.
It's basically Hard Home, but with worse hygiene. Yeah. So I think that the internet trolls roll out like in Hard Home.
But I like the idea of them not moving very quickly. It's kind of which is good because I think Shireen's tank probably is not flying on the straight and narrow, considering she's a child and drunk.
Yes. But I kind of see him rolling out like Hard Home and then being absolutely ineffective getting mowed down.
Yeah, I think what the strength of the internet trolls is they have sheer numbers.
They have sheer numbers, but Shireen has a tank and drunk strength. and absolutely no fear.
I don't think Shireen is getting out of that tank to have her drunk strength, but I like
Yeah.
the idea of her trying to get out of the tank at some point and failing, and then just falling back in it. But the tank is on like autopilot
Hmm.
or
She
something.
set a stick up.
Yeah, yeah. I think at some point the only way, and I think this is totally plausible, the only way for her to not win immediately and Tyrion to just say fuck it and like go get something to eat and be like, I'm just gonna find a way out of this another way,
Yeah.
is for her to. I think she's gonna eventually get stuck on something. The streets of King's Landing are small. They're not. I think she'll be able to like push her way through for a while, but I
I
think
think you're giving a lot of credit to the construction standards of Flea Bottom.
she's not necessarily starting in Flea Bottom. She's starting by the Red Keep, and they're at the bottom of the hill.
Eh,
Okay, well, just hear me out. I think also the
okay.
fact that like she's got a little bit of time to mow over everybody before she actually gets to Flea Bottom, and she's drunk and she's a child who does not necessarily know how to operate a tank. I think she lucked out on this one. So
I like that you're saying she doesn't necessarily know how to operate a tank. There is a possibility that this character from a fantasy world who's what 11 years old
and has shown
and
such an interest in Warcraft
blitzed.
in 21st
Yeah.
century Warcraft up until now. I feel like Stannis at this point would be really proud, though. I mean, can you
Yeah,
imagine?
this is yeah. This is the son that Stannis always wanted.
Maybe not the drunk part, but this part. For sure. This is the
He'll
son
deal.
Robert always wanted.
The seed is strong.
The seed is strong.
Yeah, I've really got to give this one to Shireen unless we pull out a wild card and something happens.
Man, let's pull out one more just because I really want to hear it. But I think there's a chance
Yeah.
to just be like non-operational, like her operational skill and her drunkenness, and just the fact that she does have to plow through quite a bit, and like we don't know what condition this tank's in. I think there's a chance the tank could get stopped before she gets to the internet trolls to mow them down. So let's maybe let's get one more attribute to both of them and see if that changes things. But I think you're right. Like I think like odds are with no other attribute, she wins.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got Tyrion is hangry, can summon an army of internet trolls, and he's riding a hoverboard, which gives him, I think, some safety.
What kind of
but
hoverboard are we talking about? The douchemonger hoverboards that came out that don't hover and explode?
oh no, I'm absolutely talking about Back to the
Okay,
Future
an actual hoverboard, like a
hoverboards.
reasonable normal person hoverboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is going to keep him alive, but I don't think it's going to give him any incentive. And
No, I think he's just going to feel a little bit better because he didn't have to walk.
yeah. And then we've got Shireen, who is driving a tank. She's drunk and she's a pacifist, which frankly I don't think isn't going to affect anything because she's not really trying to do much.
No, yeah, I think any pacifist, if they're wasted and they're driving a tank, clearly when they're drunk, they lose their sense of pacifism.
Yeah, I think her morality there is skewed. I think I've got to give this to Shireen.
Yeah, I think Tyrion just walks away. I think he sees it coming. He summons the internet trolls. He realizes he doesn't like the internet trolls.
He doesn't like the internet
Tyrion would fucking
trolls.
hate
He likes Shireen.
Yeah, he loves Shireen. I think either Tyrion walks away from this, or he says "fuck it," grabs another cask of wine, and jumps on that tank.
Yeah, hoverboard's over with a cask of Arbor Gold.
Let's keep this party going.
Pretty much, and then they go to
Dorne. This is a great story. I want this to happen now. This is the spinoff. This is the spinoff that we should have happen.
This is the spinoff. You know, I was excited about the Tyrion. I'm sorry, the Aegon the First story, but
I think this takes
got
it. I think this wins the super fight of spinoffs.
All right,
folks. Well, that was round 2. We're calling it for.
That was round 2.
I think that's a legitimate. Shireen wins, but it's kind of a draw.
Yeah, I think so too.
They would have been friends, and they really would have been friends if she was drunk.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
This is great. I want to hang out with them now.
Right?
All right, well, I'm going to go do that.
Okay, you go hang out with them. I'm going to...
You can come too.
Yeah, cool. I'll see
See
you
you
in Dorne.
enjoyed. All right, folks, we'll be back next
All right. Thanks, folks.
Monday, April 3rd, with a new episode.
April 3rd.
And who knows what our matchups may be. But enjoy the mental image of Tyrion and Shireen riding on a drunk tank back and forth for brunch.
Thanks, folks. Have a good one.